movie's based on a true story of a bunch of people in 1997 that pulled off the second largest cash heist in US history. The first time that I saw one of the interviews with David Ghantt and hearing his side of the story and how things went down, he was such an interesting person and felt like he was kind of the guy that was always underestimated by everybody. And he had a big heart as well. You could tell that he was just a good person. My first interaction with David Ghantt, I called him and told him about the movie and what we were doing, and really wanted his input and wanted him to be involved and be on the set. And we were fortunate enough to have him here for the whole shoot, which has been so much fun. And he's, every day told us how, every detail of the heist and how it went down. And it's been so much fun to have him here. He's just been a part of the crew and part of the family. Believe it or not, from the get-go, when I started researching the story, Zach Galifianakis came to mind. And I didn't even know at the time that he's actually from North Carolina. And when I found that out, it was even more like, man, he's got to be the guy playing David. One of the great things, the story takes place in North Carolina, and Zach grew up a few hours away from where the actual heist occurred. And he's able to bring a real authentic local flavor to the accent and just how he's portraying the character and in a lot of scenes in the film. In the film, we've got Owen Wilson playing Steve Chambers, and he fancies himself the mastermind of the whole heist, and he thinks throughout the film that he's got the best of David Ghantt, and David Ghantt is just, a puppet or a drone working for him, and he can cut him off at any time. And at one point in the film, sends a hitman down to kill him, and that backfires. And Owen does such a hilarious job, playing the guy that thinks he knows everything and can manipulate. He's in the film, Owen Wilson plays the master manipulator, but doesn't really have full control of David Ghantt, even though he thinks that he does. We have Kristen Wiig playing Kelly Campbell. She is the love interest of David Ghantt in the film. She was the one, in the real story that really put the bug in David Gantt's ear to go through with the heist, and took advantage of their friendship to pull it off. There were some darker elements to the real story, but for me, it was important to take the cues, just the optimism that the real David Ghantt has, and his hindsight looking back at what he experienced. He has a really good sense of humor about it. And for me, that, how silly and ridiculous a lot of the things that happened were, there were a lot more things to laugh about, some of the real events that occurred than there were darker ones. I mean, they sent a hitman down to try and kill David Ghantt, but the guy decided not to go through with it, and they became friends, and those elements are so funny and ridiculous to me that that's the tone of what the movie needed to be. I don't think you can not look at Zach's hair in the film and not smile. He just looks like if Kenny Loggins and a grizzly bear had a baby. That's kind of what you're looking at. I've always been fascinated with criminals that try and outwit people and fascinated with criminals that are trying to stay a step ahead of the law, but fail miserably. I think it's very funny. Just people that think that they know more than they do and fall short, and even with the best laid plans, things are out of their control and can go wrong. Mary Elizabeth is so funny. She came to our audition. She plays the role of Michelle Chambers, who's the wife of Steve Chambers, the mastermind of the heist. And she's so funny. She came to the audition. She's so authentic. She's from Mississippi and totally understands, a lot of the southern texture that the character has. And yeah, she's just hilarious in the film. We were fortunate on this film to have a bunch of really, really funny people, and we knew with that kind of a cast that the laughs would come. So for me, it's so much of it has been about keeping the heart, of the characters in play, and just making sure that this, that we're focusing in on the, important emotional beats of the story, and every day we've had abundant laughs with every scene that we've shot, which has been fun.